The world has ended, though not in fire or plague, but in the slow, relentless terror of the night. When the sun dips below the horizon, the air fills with the hunting cries of creatures born in darkness, feral, intelligent, and merciless. Humanity has been driven to the edges, surviving in silence behind barricades. Hoping each dawn will come without lost eye in the ruins of a city, Paul moves like a shadow, picking through the remnants of civilization. His eyes scan the empty streets, alert for movement. A distant wail of sirens splits the air, an unambiguous warning. The light is fading, and with it, the last thin layer of safety. Paul hurries on, weaving through alleys, staying out of sight. Smoke rolls upward from shattered buildings, and muffled explosions echo across the skyline. The streets are no place for hesitation, but he makes it to the outskirts, his breath steady but quick. An abandoned house stands waiting, weathered by time and wind. Inside, two tiny bundles rest, his infant twin sons. Paul gathers them into his arms, holding them with a gentleness that contrasts the harshness outside. He whispers to them, promising safety, though in his heart, he knows that in this world, safety is never certain. 15 years pass. The house is still their home, now weathered but fortified. The twins, Joseph and Thomas, are no longer helpless children but capable young men. They spend their days scouring the countryside for supplies, tools, food, anything that might give them an edge. But the rules remain unchanged. When the light starts to fade, they return home, secure every entrance, and wait out the darkness. One afternoon, Joseph closes the last window shutters, calling for Rocco, their faithful dog, to come inside. Paul waits at the edge of the property, eyes fixed on the tree line, until Thomas appears. He's late again. Paul's relief quickly turns to anger, his voice sharp as he warns Thomas that tardiness isn't just reckless, it's a gamble with their lives. At dinner, a small joke between the brothers flares into a shoving match. Paul steps in, ending it with a stern reminder. They're family, not enemies, and in this world, division can be fatal. That night, Rocco growls, his paws scratching frantically at the floorboards. A heartbeat later, the front door shudders under a violent blow. The family reacts instantly, bracing it with their weight. Each strike from outside rattles the frame. The wood groans under the force. Then it stops. Joseph, ever analytical, counts the assaults. 10 seconds, then 20, then a single final hit. He believes it was deliberate. When dawn comes, claw marks scar the door. It's weakened, splintered, and one more night like the last could break it entirely. They head out for lumber. Later, while Thomas saws planks, Paul finds Joseph in the barn with something unexpected, a half-built vehicle. Joseph has been trying to make it run, longing for freedom beyond the boundaries of daylight. Paul kneels, studies the engine, and with a few adjustments, brings it roaring to life. For a moment, the world feels bigger. They take a short drive, feeling the thrill of motion before returning to work on the windows. Paul sends the boys to the river for more building materials. Thomas, however, diverts toward the Rose family farm, where Charlotte waits. Joseph heads for an abandoned ship, stepping cautiously into its shadowed interior. Inside a locker, he finds a pin-up magazine, an eerie relic of the old world. Then a sudden eruption of beetles swarms over him. He escapes, shaken to the farm. Thomas helps with chores, but his real purpose is Charlotte. They walk together, sharing fragments of their lives. She recalls being allowed outside only when tied to a tree for safety, her rope giving her room to run. They speculate about the cause of the world's downfall, wild theories to mask the reality neither can change. But as the sun dips, Thomas leaves in a rush. He doesn't make it far. A hidden gap in the ground swallows him, the fall leaving him stunned. Paul, tracking him with Rocco, arrives just in time to see a clawed hand reach through the earth toward his son. Thomas stabs it, but another creature drops from above, cutting off his air. Paul strikes, killing it, and together they find a tunnel leading from the gap. It's too dangerous to risk the forest at night, so they block the entrance and wait out the hours in the cold darkness. The house. Joseph is not idle. He sets a clever trap, a rope rigged to a cage, that drops over a creature when it reaches inside. He covers it with a blanket, studying its breathing and movements, then leaves to find his family. By morning, Thomas digs Paul free from the partially collapsed tunnel. They return home, but Paul's injuries are severe. Thomas insists on taking him to the Rose farm for help. The answer is a cold refusal. There's not enough medicine to spare. The brothers' tempers snap. Joseph blames Thomas for their father's state, and fists fly. Thomas remains behind with Charlotte, who cooks for him and shares a moment that nearly turns to a kiss. Night comes, and with it, devastation. Creatures pour into the farm. Charlotte's parents are killed. The barn ignites, and the screams of men and animals merge with the roar of the flames. Charlotte shoots one of the beasts attacking Thomas, and together they run, the farm collapsing into fire behind them. At home, Joseph has made a grim discovery. Dirt piles and a hidden hole beneath the floor reveal the truth. The creatures have tunneled into the house itself. He blocks windows, builds barricades, and douses furniture with gasoline over the opening. Thomas and Charlotte arrive, and Paul, weak but lucid, joins in. Together, they prepare for the final stand. They haul an old freezer into the house for shelter, stack explosives and flammables over the breach, and wait. The attack is immediate and brutal. A creature drops down the chimney toward Paul. Others force their way through doors. Knives, axes, and gunfire fill the air. Charlotte shoots one. Thomas kills another with a dagger to the skull. Joseph and Thomas shove the freezer into position. Paul orders them inside. They obey, hearing his lone battle as the swarm grows louder. Then the trap ignites. The explosion tears through the house, collapsing it in a storm of fire. Morning brings silence. The survivors emerge, Joseph, Thomas, Charlotte, and Rocco, into the ruins. Paul is gone. They salvage what remains, bury their dead, and leave the smoking wreck behind on the road. They see the stars for the first time, unbroken by clouds or fear. Ahead lies a valley farm, untouched for now. They drive toward it, 3 young lives and 1 loyal dog, carrying with them the memory of the man who kept them alive for 15 long years.